everyone to the 2025 CounciLIVE series. Thank you for joining us as we season. I'm Ashley Zahorchak, the Manager of Innovations and Quality Assurance for the Council for Professional Recognition, and I'll be your moderator for this session. We're excited to have you with us as we explore the latest initiatives that the Council has rolled out. Today, we are joined by an incredible panel of Council subject matter experts. Dr. Calvin E. Moore, Jr., Chief Executive Officer for the Council. Andrew Davis, the Council's Chief Operating Officer. Dr. Bisa Batten-Lewis, Director of ECE Competence and Practice. Marcel Anderson, Director of Innovation and Training. And Raquel Andrade, Director of CDA Credentialing. We appreciate your participation today. Let's get started with our conversation. Dr. Moore, 5 updates were released earlier this month, including the new Birth to 5 CDA credential, updates to the renewal process, and more. How do these updates reflect the Council's broader mission and commitment to evolving with the needs of the field?
Thank you, Ashley. These updates that we're discussing today are deeply aligned with our mission to advance career pathways through high-quality, competency-based credentialing. The emphasis being on high quality. Our flagship credential, the Child Development Associate, or the CDA as it's commonly known, has always been a cornerstone of recognizing the competencies that are required for effective practice in early childhood education settings. As the field evolves, so must our credentialing. The recent updates to the CDA reflect our commitment to staying relevant and responsive to this evolving field. Again, the emphasis being on a high-quality credentialing system.
Thank you, Dr. Moore, for that response. Andrew, what external factors influenced the timing of these updates?
Well, the main thing that drove the timing of these updates was the need to be responsive to the immediate needs of the field. It almost feels like we can't do enough fast enough for the great need that is expressed in the field to us. But we knew that there were educators that need to go between classrooms within the same center. And so the Birth to 5 credential and figuring out a way for us to be able to offer that as quickly as possible was incredibly important to us. But then some of these updates are also related to other things that we want to be able to do in the future. So not only the ability to offer digital credentials to ensure greater safety and security for those who have earned their CDA, to cut down on fraud and also be able to maintain the integrity of the credential, but also giving the opportunity for people to show and show off and share their success and their CDA success with the world through various social platforms. But all of the updates that we've made are directly related to needs in the field, express needs in the field, and things that position us to be able to better serve the field going forward.
Thank you, Andrew, for that information. Marcel, we heard Andrew talk about the Birth to 5 CDA credential. Could you tell us a little bit more about it? Specifically, why was it important to create a CDA setting that spans birth through 5, and which educators will this benefit?
Good afternoon, Ashley. Thank you so much for this great question. The Birth to 5 setting for the CDA credential was developed in response to a demand from the field. The Council conducted a survey with over 1,000 respondents, and 80% of those respondents indicated a need for this credential option. To earn the CDA credential in a Birth to 5 setting, individuals will demonstrate competence with a broader range of children, increasing their job opportunities. Specifically, this new credential will offer candidates who work with children in a center-based setting flexibility that helps address staffing shortages and bridge child development knowledge across age groups.
Marcel, you spoke a little bit about flexibility. So how will this setting impact the flexibility and marketability of CDA earners entering the workforce?
Another great question, Ashley, and thank you again for asking. ECE educators can now earn a CDA credential that verifies their ability to work with children from birth to 5 years of age. In a field that requires flexibility, as well as a strong understanding of the stages of child growth and development, birth to 5 CDA holders will demonstrate they sustain the education and experience to adapt to a changing environment and act accordingly.
Thank you, Marcel. This is really exciting about the new setting. Raquel, I'm coming to you to talk about digital credentials. Could you tell us about our new digital credential? Specifically, what does the digital credential allow CDA earners to do that they couldn't do before?
So we've partnered with Credly as the platform for our new CDA digital credential, and it is truly a game changer for our candidates. One of the biggest advantages of the new CDA digital credential is how easy it is for candidates to access and share their certificate. So once a candidate is awarded the CDA, they'll receive an email from Credly, typically within 2 business days, inviting them to create a Credly account and access their digital credential. From there, they can instantly download and print their official certificate with no additional waiting or mailing delays. That's incredibly helpful for job interviews or even just having a copy on hand for program requirements. And the certificate format hasn't changed. It still looks the same as what candidates, employers, and state administrators are used to. The only difference is that we've added a QR code for verification. When someone scans it, they're directed back to our website where they can enter the certificate ID and confirm the credential and its current status. It's a simple but powerful way to ensure authenticity. And thanks to Credly, which is completely free for CDA earners, sharing the credential is easier than ever. Candidates can email it directly to employers, include it in their LinkedIn profile, or add it to their email signature. It's all about making their achievements more visible and accessible and giving them tools to advocate for their professional growth.
Thank you, Raquel. This is really exciting information. From a candidate's perspective, how did the CDA process updates streamline the initial and renewal credentialing experience?
So that's a really good question. I'm going to talk about 3 major changes, but overall, all of the recent updates to the CDA credentialing process have really simplified things for candidates, both for those applying for the first time and those renewing. One of the biggest changes is to the initial process with the shift to the exam first sequence. Candidates must now complete the CDA exam before being authorized to schedule their verification visit. This helps them focus one step at a time, making it a more manageable process, and it also brings consistency to how candidates move through their credentialing journey. This change also supports standardization across the board. By having everyone follow the same sequence, we're ensuring a more uniform experience. That consistency helps us maintain quality and fairness and makes it easier for candidates to understand what is expected at each stage. For renewals, we removed the first aid and CPR requirement, since these health and safety standards are already embedded in state licensing and program level regulations. That change alone removes a major barrier for many candidates, especially those facing logistical and financial challenges to meet the requirement. In addition, the renewals are now awarded automatically. Once a complete application and payment are submitted, it makes the renewal process faster, more efficient, and eliminates unnecessary delays. With that change, we've also introduced a random audit system to the renewal process to maintain quality without adding extra steps for everybody. Although the ECE reviewer continues to verify the candidate's work experience hours and recommends them for renewal, and the verifier reviews and confirms the training and membership documentation, candidates are now required to upload their training, membership, and experience documentation directly to their application, which streamlines and ensures everything is ready in case they are selected for audit. The audit is an important layer of quality assurance, helping us maintain the integrity of the credential while keeping the process efficient and equitable. And so the last change I'm going to talk about is that we recently announced that starting December 31st of this year, we will no longer accept paper applications. This move to online-only applications eliminates process delays, reduces errors, improves communication, and prevents the submission of incomplete applications. Candidates benefit from faster processing, real-time updates via email, and a more user-friendly experience overall. Candidates can complete their application from anywhere at any time without worrying about mailing deadlines or lost documents. Plus, it's more secure. That said, we do recognize that not everyone has reliable internet access, and we're committed to supporting those individuals through outreach and guidance to help them navigate the online process. The goal isn't just modernization, it's about making the experience smoother and more predictable while still being mindful of equity and access. So overall, the updates aim to make the CDA experience more efficient, accessible, and aligned with the evolving needs of early educators.
Thank you, Raquel, for sharing this important information about the updates around our new digital credentials. Dr. Bisa, I'd like to talk with you about the CDP. What is the CDP, and in what ways does the CDP respond to growing demands for leadership and specialization within early childhood education?
The CDP is the Child Development Professional. This is a new concept introduced by the Council to explore a credential that's more advanced than the CDA and that will provide additional voluntary designation for early childhood educators. The CDP is a proposed workforce solution to meet the needs of the current needs of the field through the design and offering of an advanced, nationally recognized, competency-based lead teacher credential. So we're looking to show that lead teachers have done the job, they know what the job is. Not only are they educated, but they can do the job. In many states, they do recognize this current CDA as a lead teacher credential, but that's not nationally. The CDP will validate the lead teacher role, showing that they are prepared and that they can do the job. So the CDP would recognize their experience as well as their education that they have earned while doing the job as a lead teacher for at least 2 years that we're currently saying. So the CDA is not going away. It remains the most widely recognized credential in early childhood education and the best first step for early educators. The CDP is being explored as the best next step rather than replacing the CDA.
Thank you, Dr. Bisa, for telling us a little bit about the CDP. How will the CDP elevate the perception of early childhood educators as professionals with advanced skills and impact?
Like many professions, there is a designated career pathway. There's a starting point, and then as you want to advance in your career, there are next levels that you can explore for education, credentialing, certification to show that you are more advanced in that field. So whether it's nursing, as many love to compare educators to, but there's also technology. You look in different professions, and again, this pathway is there. We're looking to do the same with early childhood education. One of the reasons why it has been difficult to validate and confirm that our field is indeed a profession is because of the lack of that clear pathway. So the CDP, we want it to be, again, nationally recognized to show that lead teachers, they have a starting place with the CDA, and as they want to continue in the field and validate their credentialing and their experience nationally, showing that they can do the job and they have been validated to do so nationally, the CDP is their next step. If they want to move on to earn credentials, other credentials and degrees, that's wonderful. We feel that the CDP will complement that pathway, but we definitely want them to have a place to start nationally, next level from that best first step. So the CDP, we're looking at it to be nationally recognized in the field along the career pathway, and for states to adopt it and say, yes, you can be a CDP. We recognize that in our state, and you can also move along the pathway in early education.
This is really exciting, Dr. Bisa. Thank you for sharing that with us. Andrew, shifting gears a little bit, how have you seen the introduction of automation and digital credentials enhance equity, engagement, and accessibility for CDA professionals?
That's a great question, Ashley. I would venture to say that we don't have a tremendous amount of evidence around a lot of these updates yet because they are still so new. What I can tell you is what we hope. From its inception, the CDA has represented a very holistic and comprehensive evaluation of an educator's readiness to serve in an entry-level capacity in an early childhood classroom environment. Our challenge at the council has been, how do we scale that? How do we make that accessible and equitable for any person desiring to be an educator, regardless of their background, their education, their ethnic background, their language, etc. And so what we continue to strive towards is making sure that we create a level playing field for that creates this on-ramp and this welcome invitation for those endeavoring to work with young children to have a path to serve that recognizes their unique background as well. And so what we hope happens here is that not only are we able to continue to increase the accessibility through language offerings and our automation, but from a equity standpoint, the digital credential especially will make sure that it protects the integrity of the individual who has earned it. We want to expand to offer employers the opportunity to validate and verify that someone has their credential. And cut down on the fraud that we're aware that takes place out there. But we also want to have the opportunity for educators to promote, celebrate, and share their accomplishment and their stories with the world. We know that quite often it is the entry-level educators who often don't have the platform and the voice to share their stories, and we want to give them that. And so we hope that through the opportunity for a digital credential to share through social platforms, that they can promote themselves and their work, their voices can be heard more broadly. And as we hear those stories and understand the needs that we need to respond to, we can improve our service offerings at the council as well.
Thank you, Andrew, for this insight. It really sounds like the council is taking the ECE field to the next level. Dr. Moore, for our last question of this session, what message would you most want state leaders and program administrators to take away from today's conversation?
First of all, Ashley, I want to thank you for moderating such a wonderful conversation today. And I want to thank the amazing team that you've assembled here to talk about all these changes and updates, but also every team member at the council who had anything to do with making all these updates happen. The key message I would like for state administrators and state leaders to take away from this conversation is the importance of collaboration, collaborating between them and us, but also understanding that these things don't just happen. We're all working toward building a robust early childhood education system that works for early educators, but also works for children and families. The updates to the CDA are not just changes to a credential, they really represent a collective vision for the future of our field. And I think the council is uniquely positioned to be a leader and make that future a reality. We urge leaders to view the CDA and that wonderful CDP that Dr. Bisa talked about as a valuable asset, right? In elevating the early childhood professional standards that we love, our national CDA standards, and that they can build this system within their states with ease. And we want to make sure that we are partners with them, thought partners, but also partners in making that happen, which I believe is a worthwhile endeavor. I'm excited about it. I hope you are, and I hope your listeners are as well.
Thank you for sharing these important takeaways, Dr. Moore. As we conclude today's session, I want to thank our panelists for their time and expertise. It was truly an honor to be a part of this conversation. To our viewers, thank you for watching. Please stay connected to the Council for more information regarding our next episode of CounciLIVE, scheduled to release next month. Thanks, everyone.